Good morning. Good morning. Here we are in the month called Creating a Joyful Life. Isn't that awesome? I love that. I think that's wonderful. Creating a joyful life. And joy is a quality of God. Joy is a quality of God. So it's already within us, right? We are that. It is a quality of God, therefore it's a quality of us. Just like all the rest of the qualities, they are limitless. So we can embody, we can demonstrate, we can use, we can express as much or as little of it as we desire. Think of those qualities on a sliding scale. I like to think about it like the sound booth. You know, those little, they slide it, up and down, right? Higher, lower, get louder, softer. Think of the qualities of God much the same way. They are a continuum. So they're on a sliding scale. There's little, teeny, tiny amounts of joy if you go all the way down. And we might call that sadness, but it's the smallest amount of joy we can express, all the way up to the most amount of joy we can express. Total blissed out. So it's a continuum. Life is a unity. There is only God. And we've come with free will, so we get to use as much or as little of all of these qualities as we want, as we desire, as we believe and embody. God is the good to which there is no opposite. So there is only love, there is only joy, there is only abundance, there is only peace and power and unity and wholeness and wisdom. There are only these qualities. And we, because we have free will, decide as much or as little that we believe we deserve, that we own, that we demonstrate, that we let loose in the world. As diverse as we all are and as unique and individual as we all are, we all come from that same root. We all come from those qualities. We all come from spirit. And so we all come with the same stuff. We've all come like little packages of ingredients, All of the ingredients are there. We come with all of the ingredients. And that's why we say when we're whole, perfect, and complete, right? We're whole, perfect, and complete, which means we're lacking nothing. All of the qualities of God are within us. And with free will, we get to use all of those ingredients the way we decide. A little bit of abundance, a lot of joy, some freedom thrown in, a little bit of unity, whatever. We use all of those qualities in our own perfect and unique way. Ernest Holmes reiterated actually what the Bible said, that we are born in the image and likeness of the Creator. So if the Creator is triune in nature, spirit, soul, and body, and we've agreed that that is the truth of God, right, that it has aspects, spirit, soul, and body, then what we know is we are that, because God created everything in its image and likeness. Everything is created with energy. There's nothing else but energy, right? Wherever you go, whatever you do, it's energy. There's nothing else but energy. And so we talk about this aspects of God, not like there's three different things going on, but they are simply aspects of the one energy. And we call it spirit, soul, and body. And what we know is that spirit is the knower. Spirit is the thinker, the decider, the desirer. Spirit is first cause. First cause, which means it causes something to occur. We know that soul is the receiver, having no desire of its own, having no agenda of its own. It simply receives the impress of the thought upon it. And it goes to work. It is the agreeer. It is the worker. It goes to work out picturing that thought, out picturing whatever we put into it. And the body is the resultant manifestation. It is the thing in the world. It is that temporary thing that comes to pass. They say that in the Bible all the time, it comes to pass. They never said it came to stay, right? Nothing in the physical world comes to stay. It always comes to pass. So the body, that resultant manifestation in the outer physical world, that temporary thing that we create with our thought. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, the soul in man, referred to in the Bible, means the place where man uses the creative principle consciously or unconsciously, impregnating it with his thought. Man is spirit, a self-conscious, self-choosing, self-directing entity. His conscious mind is part of his spiritual nature, which he uses in a very limited way at the present. I love that. Things haven't changed much. Okay. But which has the possibility of forever expanding. Forever expanding. And he goes on to say the soul element is the subjective, the subconscious reaction to the thought, the feelings, or the emotions, and acts creatively upon them. The body then is the effect on the creative act of mind. And he goes on to say, we never deny the physical body, or we never consider it an illusion, but we affirm it as part of the system. The physical outpicturing is just as real as it has to be, right? We have to deal with it. It's just as real as it has to be. But know that it's temporary. Everything in the physical world is temporary. It's a temporary condition. It's an effect. First cause is the thought. The condition is the temporary outpicturing. So this is who we are, this is what we do, and this is how we do what we do. And we call it the divine creative process. This is how Spirit creates. This is how Spirit thought the entire universe into being. This is how the universe is continuing to outpicture. And because we have been created in the image and after the likeness of the Creator, we co-create using this same divine creative process. We didn't make up the process. We didn't create the power. But what we do is we align with it. We align with this idea of a divine creative process. We align with the truth of it, and we allow it to flow through us into our life and change the conditions around us. So let's walk through this divine creative process. Let's walk through this divine creative process in a way in which we create a more joyful life for ourselves, right? We allow it to flow through us. So do we have a picture of the teaching symbol? Do we have a, no? Okay. Do we all know? I can take a picture and just walk around like this, yeah. You know the V, the circle, right? The three aspects. Okay, let's just put that in our minds then. So we have this thing called the divine creative process. And at the very top we have spirit. Spirit's all of it. But at the very top we have volition. We have first cause, the thought, remember the thinker, the knower, right? There are divine ideals. They are divine ideals, such as abundance and beauty and balance and order and peace and joy and love and power and unity and wisdom and wholeness. All of those are divine ideals. And they would be in the mind of God. They're pure and simple. These are the ideals to which there is no opposite. There is only the one. There is only the one. And so these divine ideals, these qualities of God, they exist on this spiritual plane. And we call in what they are. We call in a divine ideal into our personal lives. So let's call in joy, since this is creating a joyful month. We call in joy. And as we do this, we are drawing from these divine ideals through intuition, and it becomes my personal idea. That's how it works. We have these divine ideals, and through the intuitive process, we get a spark, we get an idea. And then it's my idea. We personalize the universal principle, and we bring it down into ourselves, and this divine ideal becomes my idea through the process of intuition. And so I have this divine ideal called joy, and through an intuitive process, I bring it down into my body, and I go, I've got an idea. I know what'll make me happy. Whatever. We allow imagination at that point to enter into this divine creative process. And the imagination creates these wonderful pictures, gives rise to feelings and emotions, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, it does. Because once we start working on that idea, our personalized idea of that universal symbol, then we start juicing it up, baby. You know, we start getting all excited about it. We start throwing in some feelings and some emotions about that joyful thing that we're thinking about. That imagination allows us to act as if, right? And this is how sports psychologists work with their clients. Isn't that true? This is the way sports psychologists sit with their athletes. And they make their athletes go through their sport, go through their run, or go through their swim, or whatever it is, and they put headphones on them, and they get them to visualize first place, or breaking a record, or whatever it is. And the mind doesn't know it's not really happening. Mind goes, sure, yeah, why not? You know, it says yes. It always says yes. Remember the soul part of this equation, spirit, soul, body. The soul doesn't argue with mind. It simply goes to work out picturing it. And so this is what we do. The imagination gets us juiced up, where the feelings and the emotions come in. We get this felt sense of as-isness. We act as if. We begin to act as if it has already happened. And so we start entertaining that as already being done. We become inspired. We become inspired by this. Inspiration results from the imagination activating the mind along with the emotions. Right? We get it? Okay. Inspiration is different, a little different. There's a subtle difference between desire and inspiration, okay? When we desire, usually we desire to possess. When we are inspired to express. Big difference. So it is that inspiration that starts moving us to action. You know, this comes right out of the Principles of Financial Freedom by the Reverends Lloyd Strom and Marcia Sutton. They have a beautiful printout. I should have put it up there on the big screen. But we are inspired by spirit. Even though it is a felt emotion, know that inspiration comes from spirit. In fact, the word means in spirit, when we are inspired. And the response to this inspiration is to take action. We get all jazzed and juiced up. We're starting to think it. We're starting to feel it. We're starting to know it. We're starting to act as if. We are inspired to take action. So we do something in the world. We do something. We take action. This is the move your feet part of the whole divine creative process, right? You remember we always talk about prayer and move your feet? This is the moving the feet part. We become inspired to do something in the real world. This action is aligned with the feelings that we have, and it can seem effortless. When we have worked along this line of the divine creative process, when we get to the inspired to take action, normally that action is easy and effortless because we have aligned ourselves with spirit every step of the way. So it can assume the form of like a chance meeting with someone. How many people have had like those crazy coincidences, right? I'm in the middle of looking for something and all of a sudden, boom, it finds me. That's inspired. That's spirit putting us in the right place at the right time to meet the right person so that we can manifest what it is. So coincidences happen. Unexpected gifts come in where none were before. All kinds of things begin to happen at the level of the condition because we have aligned ourselves with the principle. I keep doing this because I'm thinking of the left-hand side of the teaching symbol. Okay, so this is what we've done. We've gone down the left-hand side of the teaching symbol. The physical outcome of the divine creative process is always some manifestation, some condition in the world, in the physical world. And there it is. Something happens. We have an experience in the physical world. The action that we take results in an experience in the world, an experience of something. A manifestation occurs. It reflects the intentions of our aspirations. So something changes in the world, some condition shifts, something else happens. We have gone from spirit through soul into body, into a change in the physical world. So if you consider our teaching symbol, which is not there. Yay, there it is. So we have traveled down that left-hand part of the V. Spirit through soul into form, into body. That's what we have done. Now, we have this experience in the world. And sometimes we love the experience. And sometimes we have the experience and we go, oh God, what was I thinking? Right? Oh, never want to do that again. Okay, whatever the experience is down there at the point, we begin to go up on the other side. What happens is, after we have the experience, we have a reaction to that experience, don't we? So if we loved the manifestation, if we loved the experience, we go, hey, more of that. And if we hate it, we go, oh, that just really sucks. I don't ever want to do that again. But there is a reaction to that experience out in the world. We observe what we have created. And then there are feelings attached to that. Again, oh, love it, love it, love it. Oh, hate it, hate it, hate it. One or the other. Something happens as a result. And there comes cognition. We've learned something about the whole process. Information is a result of having had a physical and an emotional experience to what we've created. We gain specific knowledge as a result of the experience. This is all going up on the right-hand side. Then that knowledge leads to recognition, re-knowing. We remember back to the intuition that set the whole thing in motion. And it is a spiritual realization of the truth of the divine creative process, of that divine ideal that we set in motion to begin with, which ultimately leads to wisdom. You know, they say wisdom is from making good decisions, and good decisions are usually made from, making bad decisions. That's how it comes. So this is wisdom at the very end. We gain wisdom from this overall experience. And then it happens again and again and again and again. And that is the divine creative process, step by step by step. And we do it consciously, or we do it unconsciously. But this is how we create all of the conditions in our life. This is the way it works all the time. Whether or not you know you're using it, whether or not you believe in it, this is the divine creative process. So you can see through this where we co-create. We align with a principle that exists. It's impersonal, it is infallible. It doesn't care who you are. And it works 100% of the time, every time, all the time. It doesn't ever not work. It doesn't pick and choose. Well, see, I'll work for you, I won't work for you. I'm going to suspend the principle for some people and not for others. No, it is infallible and impersonal. It works every single time, and it works exactly the same way for everybody. So you can see this is how we co-create, how we align with this principle, spirit, soul, body, that created the entire universe and is continuing to create to this day. Creation is ongoing. And how we are part of that because we have these same qualities within us. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, the thought of man did not set the planets in their orbits, nor swing the vast galaxies of celestial bodies on their appointed rounds. A cosmic consciousness did this. But the selectivity of man's creative consciousness does and must create and people his own individual world with his own individual expression. What God does on the macrocosm, we do on the microcosm. That same spirit, soul, and body that has outpictured the entire universe is outpicturing our life. Outpicturing based on our choices, based on our inspirations, our aspirations, our intentions, our fears, our doubts. The universe doesn't question it. You keep saying, I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor. You know what? The universe goes, great, survive this. You'll keep getting shit. I'm sorry. You will keep getting stuff thrown at you that you can survive, You want to be more than a survivor. You want to be a thriver. You want to be a whole, perfect, and complete individual. You don't want to keep challenging yourself with stuff to survive. You have to think about what you're saying because the universe is only going to reflect it back to you. It's not going to question. It's not going to doubt. It's not going to say, no, I don't think you deserve it. It's only going to reflect back. So we call from divine mind those ideals, the quality of God called joy. Okay, we're in joy, right? We're in the joyful month, so let's say joy. We get an intuitive hit, right? Remember, the divine ideal goes through intuition, becomes my idea. So I get a total hit, intuitive hit about joy. It's my individualized expression. And then that's where my imagination takes over, right? That's where it's starting to enter the realm of soul, that middle part, It starts, the feelings and the juices start going. So let's say I have an intuitive hit of joy, and then I personalize it, and it's like music. That's it. It's going to be music. Music is my joy. So I I don't know, thinking about singing, or maybe thinking about learning how to play an instrument. That's where the imagination takes over. Thinking, feeling, what would that be like? What would it be like to sing on a stage like this? What would it be like to play an instrument in front of groups? Oh my gosh. And you start getting the feeling sense of this, right? You start getting that with the imagination, the feelings and emotions come in, and it becomes a felt sense. So that spirit within us, that thinker, that seed, gets planted in the fertile soil of the soul, the receiver and the doer, and goes to work creating. This is the soul's quality. This is what it does. And then it produces something in the physical world. The manifestation results. So what? You sign up for lessons, maybe, or you sing in the shower. I don't know. You do something in the physical world as a demonstration of that, wanting to make that divine ideal our idea, that we're inspired, that we move on, that we create a manifestation. So you play an instrument, or you join the choir, right? You join the choir. You demonstrate the quality of God, known as joy, through music, because that was your free will. That was your decision to do that. This is how the divine creative process works. And this is how we do it in every moment of every day, every decision that we make, every thought that we have, backed by that intuition and that imagination and the feelings and emotions. This is what's going on all the time in our lives. We're using it whether or not we're aware of it. And when we get that manifestation, when that out-picturing occurs, what happens? We celebrate. Yay, right? We celebrate. Yay, yay. Guess what? I found my joy, right? Is that what happens? You discover you find your joy? No, that's not what happens. You're letting your joy out from inside of you. It's always been there all along. You didn't find your joy. Your joy wasn't out there. Your joy wasn't in singing. Your joy wasn't in the instrument. The joy wasn't in the lessons. No, what you did was you let the joy out of you. You placed yourself in alignment with joy, and joy comes flowing out of you because you're doing something you've decided is joyful. Absolutely, absolutely. But it's been there all along, guys. It's inside of us all along with all the other qualities. And what we do with the divine creative process is we knock down all the walls that are keeping us from our good. We're just dismantling all the false thoughts and the false beliefs and I can't sing, all that. My mother used to say, she said I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. Okay, well, there you go. So maybe I'll start singing someday. No, you won't want me to sing. No, not really. But anyway, you see, that's a false belief. So you tear those things down and you go out and you step out in all of your glory, in all of your God-given qualities, and you do the thing that lets the joy out of you, out of us. We're doing this all the time. We're doing this all the time. Okay, that brings me back to, so then you get the manifestation, right? And the joy is flowing out of you. Oh my gosh, it's working. I have the manifestation. I had this prayer. I had this thought. I had this affirmation. And look, it came to pass. Yay! This is when you go to prayer, right? You would think this is the time to celebrate. This is the time to sit back on your laurels and go, look what I created. Okay, but it isn't. It's the time to go to prayer. And here's why. Because you are at a higher level. When you've just had a demonstration, you are vibrating at that level. You are vibrating at the level of that demonstration, of that manifestation. You absolutely know that Spirit has just flowed through you into creation in the physical world. That's exactly the time to go to prayer for something else in your life, to know you're good in some other area because you're up here. You are up here. You are just resonating. You're just vibrating to the tune of the infinite. And you're ready to demonstrate something else. That's the exact perfect time to go to prayer. I know my good here. Look, I've seen my good here. My good has happened here. Here's what else I'm inspired for. Here's the next step. That's the exact right time to go to prayer. You're already on that high from having had the demonstration. So now you go to something else in your life. Now it's health. I'm going to demonstrate my health just like I demonstrated that music job or that singing career. I'm going to manifest something else because I'm right there. I'm in the flow. That acting as if, and the universe continues to say yes. and it works out the out-picturing for us. You know how it works, right? When things are going good, things get better. When things are going to hell, things get worse, right? This is why, the divine creative process. So when things are going better and things are manifesting, that's when you go to prayer. That's when you know the highest and best good for yourself. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, every man has it. You know, I just wanted to say something. When I quote Ernest Holmes, he wrote in the masculine gender because it was the time period in which he wrote. I just hope none of my female friends are offended by that. But I like to read it the way he wrote it. That's all. I'm just quoting word for word. So you just kind of change it in your mind, he, she, us, them, whatever. I could say human, but that sounds a little clunky sometimes. Anyway, he said, every man has an absolute salvation in his own mind, positive happiness in his own mind, the ability to be healed and to be a healing agency in his own mind, and above all, that without which nothing is worth anything, peace, which is born of certainty. I do not think we enter into peace until we are certain of our own soul. That is a comfort. That is a comfort. So we're here today to know our own soul, to know the soul quality, to know what our soul loves about us, to know spirit, soul, and body is the truth of us, and to use the divine creative process to create a life of joy for each and every one of us. It is within us to do the work. Thank you so much. Man.